Hey, what's up? This is Dylan from Stupid Raisins, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to use CamPop. You can find CamPop in the Titles browser and the Effects browser in Final Cut Pro. CamPop is organized into camera tools, movement presets, sweep motions, and zooms. There's a title and effect version for every animation. Keep in mind with titles that everything underneath the title will be affected by the animation. If you want to control the duration of the animation, use a title and then change the title duration. If you want the animation to apply to just one layer, then use an effect. However, you can't control the duration. The animation is automatically adjusted to fit the duration of the clip. Let's take a look at one of these templates. Let's add 3D camera to our project by dragging and dropping it. Right away, we'll see some on-screen controls. We can rotate this along the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis. These two controls right here adjust the gradient blur, and they simulate a depth of field look. There's also this stylized prism blur effect, and you can control that with these on-screen controls. Go to the Publish Parameters. If you don't see it open over here, click on this button right here to open and close the inspector. Then go to the Title Inspector. Underneath Camera, we can change the angle of view. We can make it really stylized and angled. These controls right here, X, Y, and Z angles, are tied to these on-screen controls here. So you can fine-tune it or keyframe it if you want. You can change the position of the camera, and you can extend the screen, adding flipped and rotated copies of the video or image around itself. You can change the amount of the gradient blur for a more dramatic depth of field look. Point 1 and 2 set the start and end of the blur, and they're tied to these on-screen controls. You can also adjust the amount of prism blur here, the angle, and the mix. All right, let's take a look at an effect. Add zoom and pan to your clip. Then go to the beginning of the clip. You'll notice a couple on-screen controls. The left one represents where the camera will zoom to. It will zoom in and fit this rectangle. The right one represents where the camera will pan to and where it will zoom out from. So we can change the position and the size of these on-screen controls to change where the zooms and the pan happen. Make this a little bit bigger, and then we'll focus on the guitar and her hands. All right, let's take a look at that. It zooms into her head and then pans down to the guitar and hands and then zooms out. Let's take a look at the Publish Parameters. We can turn the zooms on and off with these build in and out checkboxes. The zoom in and out takes just over 1 second each. You can fine-tune the position and the zoom size with these start and end parameters that are tied to the on-screen controls. All right, let's test out this mega sweep effect. This one is awesome because it allows you to control all the different movements of the camera in one template. You'll notice the familiar on-screen controls for our blurs, but these two new ones here create a path for the camera to follow. The camera will move between these 2 points. So let's go to the beginning of the clip, and we'll adjust where the camera starts. Then we'll go to the end of the clip, and we'll adjust where the camera ends. And here's what we've got so far. If we look at the Publish Parameters, you'll see start and end points. These are tied to these on-screen controls here. You can fine-tune them here or keyframe them if you'd like. You can also change the direction of the path. Under Camera, you'll see a lot of sweep controls. This sweeps or moves the camera around the clip, starting at a certain value and ending at a certain value. So these two will sweep the camera around the x-axis. And then these next two will sweep it around the y-axis. And then the third one sweeps it around the x-axis. And here's what that looks like now. Zoom in and out moves the camera away or towards the clip. CamPop comes with pre-animated movement presets for quick drag and drop animations. Just add the effect to your clip and you instantly have professional animations. Now, of course, if you want to fine-tune it or change that animation, you can. Just open up the inspector and then adjust the published parameters. All right, let's take a look at some zoom titles. I'll add zoom 1 second to my project. This template zooms in, holds, and then zooms out. The zoom in and out take a second each. You can use these on-screen controls to change where you zoom in at and the size of the zoom. This handle right here changes the rotation, so as it zooms in, it rotates also. It's best to go to the beginning of your title and make the changes. Here's what that looks like. I can customize with published parameters. I can change the timing of the zoom from 1 second all the way down to an instant punch in. These center, size, and rotation controls are tied to the on-screen controls here, and they can be fine-tuned or keyframed here. When zoomed in, it can get a little bit blurry, so you can use the sharpen effect to clean it up a little bit. Increase amount to sharpen up the image or make it look crisp. And then you can also control the intensity. This effect happens gradually over the zoom in period. So here at the beginning, there is no sharpen effect on. It only comes on when you're zoomed in. And then when you zoom out, it also goes away, and then there's no sharpen here at the end. If you want to zoom over a longer time, use a 2 second or the 3 second version. If you want to zoom over 3 seconds, use this zoom over duration template. Let's take a look at that right now. All right, add zoom over duration to the project. This is similar to the time zooms, except the zoom happens over the entire duration of the title clip. To change the duration of this zoom, just change the duration of the title clip. Let's go for a 4 second animation. We have the same on-screen controls, so let's set our zoom in point. And let's change the size a little bit, and let's add a little bit of rotation to it. Now, if we look at the published parameters, you'll see you can adjust the zoom, rotation, and sharpen duration independently. 100 means the animation is spread out over the entire template duration. So for a faster animation, I'll reduce the sliders. I can also reverse the zoom, rotation, and sharpen. This is great for building a custom zoom in and out sequence. First, I'll duplicate my title by holding down Option and then clicking and dragging on it. I'll move it to the end so that it matches up with the previous one. And then with the second template selected, I'll just reverse the zoom, the rotation, and the sharpen. And here's what we've got. It zooms in and rotates over 4 seconds, and then it comes back out to the normal view. Pretty sweet! There you go. That's how to use CamPop. If you need extra help, just email me at raisinhater@stupidraisins.com. Happy editing!